Something wrong there.
Okay, we're back out of executive session. No action was taken during executive session. We had discussion of item 3A and 3C. 3C was more informational than any action needed. Do we have a motion for 3A? Moved by Supervisor Runyon, seconded by Supervisor Driscoll. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call the question on 3A. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed. Opposed.
Two opposed. Okay, anything else from the county attorney?
No, thank you.
Number 4 is referrals from the Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee. That's chaired by Supervisor Garachi. And first is Office Emergency Services, Anne Marie Mason, Director. And it looks like we could probably move A, B, and C.
Right.
Moved by Supervisor Driscoll, seconded by Supervisor Frazier. Any discussion on 4A, B, and C? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Next is the Public Defender's Office, Gregory Canale, Public Defender. Item D is a request to amend the table of organization and salary schedule to decrease the salary of Assistant Public Defender number 3 from $73,116 to $71,015, effective March 30th. Yep. Moved by Supervisor Runyon and seconded by Supervisor McDivitt. Any discussion on this item 4D? Yes, Mr. Beatty.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. So we're decreasing the public defender position by a couple grand. And then we're amending the table of organization salary schedule to create and fill the new position. Well, isn't it just create, it's not a new position. It's the same position.
Well,
Same position. The same position. It's not a new position.
no, I don't think so. It's number 3 and number 10. And
3 and. Pardon? Is it a new position or what? I'm
not
confused.
the one that we're on 4D.
Yeah, 4D.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's stick with that one first.
Well, yeah, 4D but I thought 4D and 4E are looped together. No,
I don't think so.
no. So we're decreasing one of them and then immediately right after we're saying we're creating a new position with the same title.
I don't know. I wasn't here for these meetings.
No, that's why I'm confused here. Maybe the
right.
administrator or Tammy or somebody can.
Administrator?
Sure.
This is
So the public defender number 3 that already exists. So that's the item 4D. So
Right.
what this will do is this will bring that salary back down to the entry level for that position.
Okay,
And then through oils funding, they've approved an additional assistant public defender. So that's public defender. That'll be assistant public defender number 10. So that is a new position
oh,
at the starting salary. The salaries are the same because this will also be at the starting salary and it's 100% grant funded.
that's my next question.
grant funded, yeah.
And that
Royal herring.
doesn't have an expiration date?
It is, well, the way they roll forward, this is funded, I'm quite sure for Harrell Herring. We're in year 5 and we've received word from the state that they will be rolling that forward in the future.
So that grant funding will continue.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So on item 4D, any other questions? Call the question. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. 4E, and this is to amend the table of organization salary schedule to create and fill the new position of Assistant Public Defender number 10 at an annual salary of $71,015. Moved by Supervisor Runyon and seconded by Supervisor Frazier. We just had discussion. Any more questions on
Just
this?
one more question.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Is that a mandatory position that the state is saying that we must have a pen assistant?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it is a mandatory state position. They're gonna fund it. I'm fine with them.
State position. It's not a state position. I just want to clarify, it's not a state position, but
Oh,
it's a
no,
county
no, the state
position that's being
mandated, though,
paid.
That position be created, yeah.
Yes.
Just to continue on that, I think it has to do with the percentages of or the number of individuals that
Caseload.
your caseload, has to be below the threshold. In order to do that, they have to create this position.
And I believe that is a mandate from the state.
Right, yeah. It is in a number of departments.
Okay, on 4E, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 5 is a referral from the Human Services Committee, chaired by Supervisor Driscoll, and it's for the Department of Social Services. And it's a request to amend the table's organization and salary schedule to create and fill the new position of Assistant Social Services Attorney, part-time temporary, annual salary of $77,708 for 37.36 hourly. Effective retroactive to February 21st. Moved by Supervisor Driscoll, seconded by Supervisor Runyon. Discussion on this item. Yes,
Could I just point out,
Lorenzo.
the treasurer's one is here and he'll be proud. We cannot make this as it's a creation retroactive. It has to be effective after the board meeting, so it would have to be effective once.
Okay.
You're welcome.
So we can change effective February 21st to March 20th. Money? Any other discussion? Yes, Mr. Beatty.
So here we are again, adding more and more and more and more. We're already the second largest employer, I believe, in the county. Pretty sure, pretty soon, everybody in the county is gonna be working for Warren County. Just get in line. We're gonna keep adding. So I'm gonna be against this. Because there comes a time when we have to hold the line on our growth with a county that's not growing population wise. Now, I can, when the state makes a mandate, if makes it a mandate that we have to create that position, obviously, that's a mandate from the state, what they did with the public defender position. But when when we arbitrarily keep adding and adding and adding, I just can't keep supporting that. So unless there's an overwhelming position that says we have to have that, somebody's gonna have to make a heck of an argument to convince me otherwise. Go ahead, Ben.
I'll try.
Mr. Driscoll.
I just want to remind individuals, and we asked a lot of questions during the committee meeting. This is a temporary position. It's part-time. The individual who will be essentially appointed to that will be without benefits, without additional retirement. It's a person who was employed in that position before to help the existing department attorney to basically catch up on requirements so that we don't get in trouble with the state and everyone else. And then they'll wave goodbye at the end of when the work gets done, and we'll be in a good situation.
Do we have a Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
do we have an opening and start date for the potential part-time position?
March 20th, I guess.
March 20th start date. What's our end date? I'm not comfortable with part-time because I've had 1,400 employees and I know how this works. Part-time, then with no ending date and no ending assignment conclusion, it goes on and on and on. And we live in a quasi world of never ending. So I'm not comfortable without an ending date for this part-time. I may support if there's an ending date that seems feasible to me. So do we have an ending date? I guess I'm asking anybody.
My discussions with Commissioner Hanchett is it'll be before the end of this current year, 2023. So it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, but it'll be before the end of the calendar year.
To make me feel comfortable, could we put an ending date in there? May I suggest September 31st? That the position is no longer funded and
So
that,
if the work isn't done,
well, I think they can do a lot of work in 7 months, so. I'm a firm believer in people can be productive if you give them the time limit.
Go ahead.
But that's from my expertise.
Let me help clarify. I cannot speak directly to the specifics of this position, but let me talk to what the social services attorneys, and it's supposed to be 2 full-time positions, do. They handle the most serious, most difficult, most time-sensitive matters of abuse and neglect for the County of Warren on behalf of the DSS Commissioner, over and above a host of other requirements that are placed on them on a day-to-day basis. I'm not saying that for sympathy for them, but the reality is that there's substantial liabilities that are created if those matters cannot be timely addressed, brought before a judge, and handled, especially when you're talking about CPS investigations, children who are in imminent harm and danger. It very often requires immediate shifting of priorities to focus on the next thing that just popped up last night or early this morning. And it has been a one attorney shop now for months, in part because it's my general understanding, and I don't want to overstate, they've had a very difficult time recruiting and finding a second attorney to come fill in for that type of work, for that type of pay. I'll stop that there. My understanding also is that the part-time attorney who's willing to come in to help cover down on this, we'll call it vacancy, is experienced, knows these areas of law in particular, and is prepared to do it on a part-time basis moving forward until that full-time position can get filled. How that second full-time position gets filled, that's really up to the commissioner and the senior DSS attorney over there. Whether it's somebody with experience, whether it's the part-time attorney going full-time, whether it's a new grad who doesn't have any experience and has to get trained, it's not a one attorney shop. So as long as everybody on the committee understands that in not having that unit properly staffed with trained attorneys in these unique areas of law that you don't practice outside of this, one area of the Family Court Act, there's definitely liabilities to the county that we're creating. And I'll take the next step that I normally don't take. From the liability perspective, please think and vote cautiously on this position because it's too much every day for one attorney. And the worst thing that can happen, well, I'm not going to go any farther, but it's an incredible burden on one attorney, the way it's currently structured.
So if I
Mr.
may,
Beatty.
so we have an opening for the second attorney slot now. Is that correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
So we can't fill that. So we're going to create a part-time position to help out with the main attorney, our only attorney over there, with the backlog or whatever the cases that are being presented. Okay, so maybe I'd feel comfortable, maybe, if we said, okay, we'll hire a part-time attorney because that's all we can find right now. And once we hire and fill the second attorney position, the part-time position will then be terminated. That I feel comfortable with because then we're back to full staff again. I can see helping out. They're not full staff and we can't find a full staff. So we can find a quote part-timer, 36 hours. That's better than nothing. But if that gets us to where we can be, great.
If I could just, I apologize, I didn't mean to cut you off, Supervisor, but you probably want at least 60 days overlap.
2 days.
Okay, and I could look.
There needs to be some transition at a
I'm a
minimum.
very easygoing guy. I could probably even live with that. Mr. Chipman, I see a chuckle.
Supervisor
Yeah,
Driscoll.
very quickly. I don't think that this individual is interested in longevity. I think that they're if they're not going to heaven eventually, they are now. They're really doing it out of the kindness of their heart, with the understanding of the types of cases that they're involved with. In my other life, I see a number of the individuals come through Catholic Charities Domestic Violence Project, and for some really heinous type of situations we're all aware of. This person, again, didn't answer the call probably on the first or second ask, but eventually decided that they would help out. And if you can grab that type of a person, not just for social services, but for a number of other departments, just get the work done, so that eventually, hopefully, we can get that second person in full time going forward. So thanks.
So in the spirit of compromise, I'd be willing to support this until we filled the full-time position, and I'd give it an overlap of 45 days. Okay, so or 2 months, that's 60 days. So that way we have a 2-month overlap. We fill the second position. We allow the part-timer to stay on for 2 more months after full fulfillment. That I think is a fair and compromising. Would you agree, Mr. Driscoll?
Okay, we had a motion by Mr.
Yeah,
Driscoll.
I'll second that.
I think we got it.
Motion.
We had a second by either Miss Fraser or Miss Runyon.
Thank you.
Or whoever seconded it. Are you okay with that?
Say yes,
Yes.
whichever one of us did.
Miss Runyon?
Then yes.
Okay, I think questions asked and answered. I'm going to call the question on number 5. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
And that included the amendment, right? Or the-
Yes,
Thank you. Thanks for the compromise.
60 days.
Thank you.
Number 6 is these are a request or items to be discussed by our county administrator, Mr. Taplin. And it's due with the director of tourism.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to give you an update on where we are with the Director of Tourism position. We're going to start interviews in the upcoming week for 7 individuals who we deem qualified for the position. Initial interviews will be conducted by myself, the Director of HR, the Chairman of the Tourism Committee, and the Chairman, a current acting Vice Chairman the Vice Chairman of the Personnel Committee, Chairman Thomas. So, and we expect to have those interviews completed over the next couple of weeks in time for a recommendation at the following Personnel Committee meeting. And we will probably narrow the candidate list down to maybe 3 or 4 candidates for interview by the Personnel Committee and decision for the next Director of Tourism. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Any questions? Okay, yes, what is it? Pertaining to the tourism director?
Yes, I just had a quick question. What are the questions going to be? I know we brought this up in the last meeting, but will they be moving to Warren County?
That's the requirement in the job description, and we will ask that of the candidates before they come in for an interview.
Thank you.
Okay, section 5. Okay. In the Adirondack personnel, there's 4 referrals or three, I'm sorry. I think we'll leave those for the actual chairman of this committee. And the rest is, positions that have been filled in the, past month. Anything else from any of the committee members?
Just a quick announcement. I put some information, 3 documents from the Southern Adirondack Healthcare Network in your mailboxes this morning. They all relate to basically opportunities for working families and some state monies that make it more easier for individuals to either return to work or to have their childcare needs met throughout the Warren County and immediate area.
Privilege of the floor. Anyone? Seeing none, motion to adjourn. Moved by Supervisor Frazier, seconded by Supervisor Beatty. All in favor?